Welcome to another episode of the Meal Prep Monday podcast. I'm your host and founder of Prep Dish, Allison Schaaf. Today's topic is 7 mealtime lessons I've learned now that I have 3 kids. Before getting into today's episode, I would like to read an email we received from Prep Dish customer Carrie. Carrie writes, "Hi Prep Dish team, just wanted to share a note of gratitude for the product you all produce. It's been an especially difficult week, and having these in my inbox every Friday, especially this Friday, just adds an element of calm. Following a paleo diet helps me manage an autoimmune condition, and trying to do all this planning on my own would be overwhelming. I know I'm getting well-rounded, nutritious, and easy recipes for the week ahead. So thank you for all that you do." Carrie, thank you so much for sharing. I'm so glad to hear that the meal plans add an element of calm. Definitely one of my main goals with Prep Dish is adding some calm into your life. I know mealtime can be hectic and crazy, but I, believe that everyone should have the opportunity for a calm mealtime that connects you with your family. And also loved hearing that the paleo plan in particular helps you with your autoimmune condition. So glad to hear that. If you have not tried Prep Dish and would like to try out the meal plans, you can head to prepdish.com/MPM, short for Meal Prep Monday, for a 2-week free trial. When you sign up for that free trial, you have access to all of our meal plans. So Carrie mentions using the paleo plan, which is, a grain-free plan. We also have a low-carb plan, a super fast plan, which is just, healthy, well-rounded meals that are going to be on the table really quickly and only require 1 hour of prep to get you ready for the entire week. So again, if you want to check that out, it's prepdish.com/MPM. Okay, so for today's episode, I wrote out 7 lessons that I've learned about mealtime now that we went from 2 to 3 kids. A few of these are overlaps with, lessons that I've had in the past, but I feel like there's, been some changes that have had to happen. And, it's just every time you add a kid, it's like kind of rejuggling and figuring out a schedule. And, even if you're not adding a kid, I think just like going into different stages, maybe it's adding a sports practice at night or entering another grade or, whatever it is, a change up at work or in your job or your position. All of those things kind of require a recalibration of how you handle mealtime. So these are some lessons that I've learned over the past few months of managing meals with kind of a larger family and adding a baby into the mix. Okay, number 1 is to write out a plan for each meal. And by saying this, I mean write out like assigning a meal to a day. So like Sunday, it's going to be this meal. Monday, it's going to be this meal. And because I'm using the Prep Dish plans, I have kind of multiple meals planned out, and it might change. Like I might get to that night and be like, I really want to do the pasta dish tonight, but at least I have something that I can go to. So if I don't want to think about it, I can just like look at it and go on autopilot without having to devote any of my mental energy into like, what are we going to do tonight? So going that extra step and putting onto, we have a dry erase board that's on the fridge, like actually putting what's for dinner each night on there so that it's pre-planned. Number 2 is breakfast is really important to me. So I know this isn't everyone, like you have to decide like which meals are important for you, but I really enjoy sitting down with my kids for breakfast, especially with the older 2. They go to school, 4 days a week. And so it's really important for me to wait. I often will wake up earlier, with the baby or not. I try and, wake up around 5 and they may wake up 6:30 or 7. So I just wait, and that gives me time to, I like to make a hot breakfast and sit down and really enjoy that time together, that connection. Later in the day, if I'm going to be going into work or whatever it is, I like to know that I at least started the day connecting with them, listening to their little conversations and all of that. So breakfast has become more important to me than ever. And I think it's just because I know that sometimes, just making sure I have quality time with them, and that is an important window for me. Number 3, grocery delivery is so worth it. So with the grocery delivery, and the other thing is I have started to be okay. So I have been alternating right now between Kroger and Whole Foods. Whole Foods is pricier. There's certain things that I can't get at Kroger that I need to order Whole Foods, but Whole Foods is also a lot faster turnaround. Like it's sometimes within the day, but it's always by next day, whereas Kroger is sometimes 2 days out. So sometimes I'm just like, you know what? This is my stage of life. I have to suck it up and do the Whole Foods order just so I can get it here quicker because I have been a little more waiting till the last minute to put in my, meal prep dish grocery order. And that's okay. To me, in the season of my life, it's worth it. Having the time to go into a grocery store is just not happening for me right now. I'm sure that'll change at some point. Like there were days when, seasons where I used to love to go in and do my own grocery shopping. Even before baby, I would sometimes take Ivan and Seven and we had fun. Not happening right now. And that's okay. Number 4 is a 5-year-old and even 3-year-old can be really helpful in the kitchen. I know I've talked about this on other episodes, but they are just getting to this stage where they are so helpful and I can actually kind of like assign tasks for them to do. My 5-year-old, I was make his own breakfast from start to finish. It's really cool to watch. And so just really, starting to reap those benefits. It's still a little, oversight needed for me, especially with the 3-year-old, but like knowing that like I'm working towards them being more independent in the kitchen is so cool to see that kind of starting to evolve and I can see where it's going to happen. Number 5, timing is everything. I put don't be late. So I have one kid in particular that just really I can tell when it gets close to mealtime, he gets so cranky. And his teacher at school has even mentioned this, like right before lunch, he is ready for it. And so it really puts it on me to make sure that I'm not late with my meal times, that I'm always kind of like getting them on time. This is where, again, like having that meal already planned out, having the prep done, it helps. So that way I can make sure it's on time and the evening or, the afternoon, whatever meal it is, it goes so much better when we have our meals on time. It just keeps everyone happy. Number 6, holding a baby at dinner can be really lovely and is short term. I think sometimes, me and my husband look at each other like, okay, who's going to hold him? and he will sometimes sit in a seat, but it's that phase. And I think sometimes when you're in it, it's like, oh, I just want to like eat without holding a baby, but then also remembering that it actually is really sweet. And I just try and remind myself in the moment that it's actually really nice to hold I'm always it's like that mental gymnastics of like holding a baby, whether that's like rocking them to sleep or while they nap, like it can be so amazing. And so just really like, savoring that and remembering that, even though sometimes in the moment you're like, I just want to eat my meal with both hands free. Okay. And then number 7 is meal prep when I can. So I know I talk a lot about like planning out when you're going to meal prep. And sometimes I'll do this, like I'll say, I know I'm going to do it maybe more generally like over the weekend. And then I see when it comes up. But I've been a little more flexible in this season of just like me, like I buy the groceries and then I know, okay, sometime over the next few days, I need to find a window. But it's harder for me to schedule like, okay, it's going to be, this dinner time because I need it to work for me. And it's like, I kind of have to see when the time, like if I know kind of the window of like, okay, over the next 2 days, I need to find one of the meal times to do it. But being flexible and knowing that like, okay, right now is not a good time because one of the kids is having a really rough time. So let's wait till the next meal. I am finding that meal prep for me is good to do while I'm making a meal. So it's like whether I'm making lunch or making dinner. And sometimes, if it's lunch, then like maybe after lunch, I'm kind of staying in the kitchen while I'm cleaning up and like finishing up the prep. If it's dinner, I'm just like getting an early start on dinner and then also doing the prep and like kind of doing it all together. But I found that piggybacking my meal prep during another meal while I'm already in the kitchen is really makes it feel like I'm not even doing meal prep. It's kind of like I'm just doing a little extra while I'm already in the kitchen. So that's working really well for me right now. Okay, those are my 7 mealtime lessons that I am learning now with 3 kids. I'm sure we can revisit this in 6 months and some of it will be totally different because things are always changing and in flux, but really figuring out what is working for me right now. Hopefully this challenges you to think back right now, what season of life are you in? What's working well for you? Are there some things you need to change? Some things to keep doing? If you're in our Facebook group, always feel free to put your comments and thoughts on there. I love to hear feedback from you. I'm at PrepDish on Instagram if you want to connect there. And before I sign off, I wanted to read one more Prep Dish customer email from Leslie. And she says, I just wanted to pass on that overall, this has been a fantastic experience. While I honestly hate Sunday and prepping, it has taken so much stress out of my life to know that after my 10 plus hours a day at the office, I can come home and there is a plan for dinner, a healthy plan at that. I can't say how happy I am to have this help in my life. Thank you. Leslie. Leslie, thank you for sharing. I do not edit these customer emails that we receive. And so, yeah, it sounds like she doesn't really love the prepping part, but she does overall love it. I would love to talk to Leslie one on one and work through that with her and figure out a way to where she can really find a way to enjoy it more. But for now, I'm just going to leave that there. And if you want to try out Prep Dish, it's prepdish.com/MPM. Give it a try for 2 weeks. If you can get through that prep like Leslie does, I think you will find that it's so worth it to get home and have those meals ready to go, having a plan set, having your family be happy and calm at mealtime. So again, prepdish.com/MPM to try that out. As always, if you're a longtime listener and not left a rating and review, if you have an extra minute today, just get on and do that. That would be so helpful for us just to get more people in front of our podcast. Or if this is an episode and you know someone that might benefit from the content, if you could just do a quick share, I really appreciate that. That is all I have for this week. I will be back again next Monday with another episode.